So this kind of presentation it's more of like an overall general introduction to the Career Center. And we are going to just go through how to think about finding either an internship or a job, and just how to get yourself ready for that, and also to introduce you to the Career Center. So my name is Karen Harris. I'm the internship manager and also a senior career advisor, and I'm joined with Brittany Source.
I'm a career advisor as well.
Yeah. So I'm going to go through just the overall, and then even get to the point of talking about registering the internships that you'll find. And then Brittany will talk about how to actually leverage your network. So there's a few more people coming, so we'll let them come in, and then I'll get started. So this kind of presentation will take about, it's about an hour's worth. But if you have burning questions and you want to stop us, we're fine with that too. But if you want to wait till the end, that's also okay, because we try to answer a lot of questions as we go through this presentation. So I know that the QR code is not working, so don't worry about that. So just to start out the presentation, it's all about goal setting, thinking about what kind of job strategy should you have, how to effectively convey your goals, your skills, and your value to employers, and to find high-quality opportunities. It's important, and relevant opportunities in employers. So you have to build your network, and that's what we're going to talk about towards the middle. And then we're going to also talk about how to keep this process manageable, because you are very busy, and RISD is a very busy school for you. So what this means for you is jobs and internships and researching industries is always time consuming. So we're going to definitely talk about that. Brittany's going to highlight how do you use some of the resources that are there for you, networking with alumni, LinkedIn, social media. For some of you, it might be a reminder of some things that you know, but please bear with it, because sometimes when you know it, it's so close to you, so sometimes it's good to hear it from somebody else too. So I'm sure you all have resumes, cover letters, and portfolios, and if you don't, we're going to talk about that as well, but not in deep dive, but just showing you where resources are for that. And then thinking about how to organize simply, how to just figure out a system for yourself. So this is the Career Center's website, and I just want a show of hands. How many people have been on the Career Center's website? Okay, that's pretty good. So the way that the site is set up, the first bucket is always advertising some kind of new internship that we think is, going to be great. And then the second bucket is always about an event. And then the third bucket is always about an alumni doing something great. So this was about the Fulbrighters all over the world. So that one's a really great one. So one thing in the Career Center that we also try to put together is things that will help you throughout your time here at RISD, being either a first-year student all the way to graduate and fifth-year students. So we have these checklists that you can actually look at just to see where you are in the process, and it's truly a checklist. You just read it and say, okay, I've done that. So it's a great little resource that we have. So on our website, we have this section that's called Career Prep. I would highly recommend that you all look at it. That's where you're going to find sample resumes, cover letter details, portfolio details. You're going to find information about artist statements and how to interview effectively. And some of these things you probably know already, but it's just a great reminder. And also the details that are there really will help to kind of get you ready, like if you have an interview. So the cover letter, the sample cover letter, you'll see the book here, and then this would be the sample cover letter. There's a whole list of all the different disciplines. So I do want to just mention that cover letters and resumes are not static documents. They change all the time. you know. And I do want to mention that anything at the top is most important and then it goes down. But this main thing is to show you where that information lives. So, when you're looking for jobs, you're going to be looking at job boards and industry directories that are really useful for this search, and you have to figure out how to balance that. So, we are going to be talking about artworks. How many of you know what artworks is? Okay. It is so important to know about artworks. It's a job board that's been there for years. You know, when I was a student, it was here, but it was in paper form, and then it became digital. So we have about like 16,000 employers on it. These are people that are alumni, they're parents, they're friends of RISD. So and whenever there's a job on there, when you apply to an employer or you reach out to the contact of an employer on Artworks, they know RISD. So it's a really good place to start looking for a job. So I want to just show you a couple of little details about Artworks. If you do know Artworks itself, how to set up a couple of details that will help you to not have to go into it all the time, but you can get alerts about things you're interested in. If you haven't done it yet, it's kind of great to try it. So basically, you're in Artworks and it says OCI and job listing over here. You would click on that, and then you can go over here to the filter and add a filter. And I typed in major, and I'm doing architecture, and you can choose whatever major. And then see how it says turn on email alert for this kind of information. It's like a save search. So once a week, you get an email, especially right now since you're looking for an internship or a job, if you are. Or even if you're just trying to collect places, like as first year students, you might be trying to collect names of companies and organizations that you're interested in. So this was the one I got this week. So it has a lot of things on it. So I wasn't that familiar with RWS Global, but it's in the entertainment industry. They have jobs that are for graphic designers, branding, architects, and wayfinding for graphic designers. So I thought that was great. But see, this is the list that's here, and I'm going to show you a few more. This one was from last year, but I was excited about it because I always want to show this to our grad students because this museum in Houston really loves RISD people. It's actually helped a lot of our graduate students launch their residency program, help our fine artists launch their careers. Okay, so I think this core program has, it has funding and it gives support. So if you're a fine artist and that's important to you, I would tell you to definitely look at it. And I do different searches. Like this one is set up for artist opportunities. The other one was set up for internships. This is one I just found, and this is actually for art handling, a job in New York. So I didn't know of this museum completely, but they found RISD and they wanted to post this job on our website. And see, you can see it right away. You can just go right to it. So do we have any graphic design seniors in the room? Okay. Or graphic design grad students? Chronicle Books are really looking for anyone that's graduating. They have a 9 months residency kind of like fellowship that you get to work with them that often might lead to a full-time job. And they are a friend of RISD. They've been coming to RISD and recruiting from RISD a lot. So I'm going to be showing you a few of these because I'm trying to get you excited because I'm excited when I get these announcements. For like Dudonay in New York, if you love making paper or if you want to be a studio assistant, this is a great place to reach out to. I know that their deadline has passed for some of you, but as first year students, oh, sorry.
If you do an internship, does it have to correlate with your major?
It should, But that's a bigger question because it depends on what department you're in and how, because you can do an internship for a major credit or non-major credit. So you would have to talk to your department head. If it's like not directly aligned, they can talk to you about that. Okay, so I was mentioning about Dudonné, also studio, that you can be an artist assistant or you can actually sign up for their residency program. This one was kind of interesting, this art creative company, because it's art handling, but I thought it was really amazing because they have both internships and they have full-time jobs. And this is you being a studio assistant to some really well-known sculptors or artists. And they have an opportunity. This is the first year they've posted in Artworks, as far as I'm concerned. So you might be in graphic design and you like fashion. Mark Jacob has a position posted there as well. You might be in landscape architecture, and this is Peabody Essex Museum. They have a gardening internship. A lot of the museums will have early deadlines, so I'm showing a few of them because their deadlines for their programs for either internships, and often they start posting their jobs as well during this time. So like the MoMA, their internship for exhibition design is already out, and it's on Artworks. And so Artworks is like amazing because we have alumni all over the world. So, I'm not sure where this Italian job internship came from, but that's from one of our alums, I'm sure, or somebody that knows about RISD. So that's also on Artworks. So a lot of you might know, of course, Disney has their Imagineering. What I thought was kind of interesting with the Disney job, this is an editorial internship, and it's with the Marvel Studios. So for illustration students, they always want to find a connection to Marvel comics if they love comics. So that's there. And did you get the email about Leica coming? Did you? Some of you did? Okay. Well, they are coming. So I wanted to talk about Leica because of the relationship RISD has with Leica. For years and years, we're one of the only schools that they actually will come to, will visit, and they are actually having their own portfolio review for students. So then they did have a deadline that just passed today, but I did want you to know about this opportunity for next year or other years.
I was wondering, when did these companies arrive at RISD?
When did they come? Well, it's different timing. So with Leica, they posted that they're looking for you to submit your portfolio, submit your resume, and they'll choose. And then there's a date, I think, are they coming in March? No, you'll find out tomorrow if you got accepted. And then they will actually they're doing Zoom, right? And some of these types of listings that I'm showing is just because when people hear of Leica, they just think animation. They don't think of all the little details in between. So I wanted you to see all the different jobs that they're recruiting for that internship as well. So our employer directory, as I was mentioning, is really amazing, and you should definitely look at it. So for example, you would go on Artworks, you click on employers, and then you would do a search for internships that are reported by semester, and you can choose whatever semester, whatever year, and you'll see them listed up. I did 2004. Another detail that you can do on Artworks that's really good is if you are also international students, you can see companies that have hired international students in the search over here in the directory as well. If you're on Artworks and you put a little heart next to the company you love, what happens with that is you're targeting the employer. So whenever you go into Artworks in your profile, if that company is coming on campus, you will see their name listed at the bottom of your page. when you go on to Artworks. So, all this to say, when Brittany said about opening your emails and us sending emails to you, it's really important that when you get emails from us, please just open it and then you can delete it. We're not going to get hurt that you delete it, but just find out. Like, I mean, we sent out this one about jobs and internships. We sent that out. We send that out every 2 weeks. We send one on entrepreneur. We send one on exhibition. You know, we will send a lot of emails to you. So please open it and then you can delete. So this was also another one that was part of that internship listing. So if you're in textiles, this Meridia carpet, a lot of RISD alums are working there. If you'd like to do something in the outdoors and more in the fine arts, the Museum of the Outdoors is also there as well. So when you're looking for opportunities, be it jobs or internship, don't forget to look for things in your back door. We usually have a lot of students that say, I want to stay in Providence, but I want to get some kind of job or work. So I'm showing this one from Continuing Ed, which you can actually work with the pre-college, and that'll give you housing. They haven't posted it yet, but they also have like arts assistance for the education in the summer for pre-college that you can work as a TA. So I just wanted you to know to think about it that way. This part of my presentation is I'm going to show you about your discipline because, I mean, RISD has 18, 19 different majors or more because it keeps changing. So when you go on Artworks, you just, on our website, you just click on internship and jobs, and then you just find whatever discipline you're looking at. I'm going to be looking in graphic design for this presentation, but one of the nice things about the Career Center's website, we have some premier boards, job boards that we think are useful, or communities that are useful to you. And you'll be able to find a link to all of those. So that's why it's sometimes better than just blindly just Googling, but starting with the Career Center and kind of going from there. So, I mean, if you're looking for community, you know, here are, you know, there's a Korean Society one, there's Queer Archive if you're looking for that, or other groups, women groups that are there where you can develop your own networks, and also many of those places will have job board listings on their sites. So this is one of the job boards that I was looking at today, and I thought it was decent, built in, because it did give me a chance to look at different levels of hiring. And I only searched for graphic design, and that was good. One thing that we are seeing right now is a lot of jobs get listed on LinkedIn. And we're seeing that a lot of companies and organizations will list the jobs on their website. So there's the challenge of knowing the names of the company as well. But we do encourage you to use LinkedIn, and we do offer time where we can talk to you about how to use it effectively. So I just went into LinkedIn, did a graphic design search, and I'm seeing all this stuff for the United States. But you can search wherever. If you're in the fine arts, NYFA, New York Foundation for the Fine Arts, is a really, really good premier job board to look for opportunities. They always have artist assistant jobs and art handling and museum jobs. And there's actually a site for museum and education jobs as well from the American Alliance of Museums. And as I mentioned, you would click on your department, and I'm going to show you in graphic design what that looks like. So right away, you're going to start seeing this thing where it talks about common careers in your discipline, in your major. This is useful because when you're trying to describe what you know how to do, you can actually go here and look at some industry words for the things to say that you know how to do. And then we also have like a selected list of where students have interned before. And then we also, again, we have it in each discipline, we have it specified which other job boards are out there for your discipline, that where you can find the most listing for your type of job that you're looking for. And then we also have it with organizations and directories as well. So I hope that was okay just to give you a big overview of the things that you can look at. So job boards, first start with artworks, really, and always try to get the targeted email, the alerts. It's really good, and it is exclusive to RISD. We sometimes have the names of employers. They usually give us their emails, and it's on there. So look at different specific job boards for your industry. And sometimes you might see jobs that are just for seniors, like they're hiring some big manager. But if you love the company, you might want to email them, or you might want to look a little further to ask if they have other opportunities. And definitely follow your favorite organizations. On LinkedIn, there's amazing things you can do to alert employers that you're looking at their organization. And for us, the biggest thing that we see with students, follow up is very, very important. So I'm sure you've been wandering around the campus and seeing all of these signs and going, oh my God, there's so many things happening. Can I get to them all? Please do your best. We know that not everything you can get to, but attend the career programs and see the different emails that we're sending out. Like we're going to have one for furniture design. This is a company that's visiting us, and you'll get an email about that. So I just wanted you to see that. So I'm going to turn it over to Brittany to talk about networking and being proactive.
So I know we're talking a lot about job boards, but one of the important things about this process that we want you to know is that opportunities don't just live on job boards, but they live in people. And so especially as RISD students, you have a lot of resources available to you, including the alumni network. A lot of our opportunities actually do come from alumni. It comes from companies who have hired alumni that know about RISD work and the value of that. And so I'll be going through a little bit about how to access and leverage these networks or these conversations that you're having. And like Karen has been saying, it's about being proactive, so reaching out before you may need something. I think a lot of the time when we're thinking about networking or starting to have these conversations, it feels a little intimidating because we don't want to be asking for jobs. And that's not the point of these conversations. It's about getting ahead of it early so you're creating visibility for yourself so you know when these opportunities become available and when people may even think about you for these opportunities. So I'll start close to home. One of the things that you have available to you is the RISD Alumni Network. Some of the ways to access that are through the RISD Alumni LinkedIn group, some of the alumni clubs and affinity groups that I'll go through, and I'll go a little bit over organizations and directories and how those can be beneficial outside of the job board aspect of it. Some of these directories can help you identify studios that you may not have heard of before, see how professionals present themselves, discover potential employers, so going back to making that list, and even finding collaborators in your own work. This is especially helpful if you're trying to understand the landscape of the industry that you're going into, beyond the big name companies that you may see on your general Google searches. So some of the directories that could be helpful is a directory that we found a few years ago called Area. And you can even filter by location, you can filter by creative territory. And the cool thing about this directory is once you click on a certain person, you can see some of their work and you can even see a way to contact them, whether it's a website or their Instagram link. Going back to those directories on our website again, they're not just job boards, but they're also directories of lists of companies or studios that you can be reaching out to. Some of them even have newsletters that you can sign up for where they'll send you opportunities every week or every month, and any just helpful information about your industry that may be good for your search. These are some screenshots from the Alumni Office website, and so they support regional alumni clubs and affinity groups where you can meet RISD grads in your area or in areas that you're planning on going to, or those who even share similar interests. There is the alumni group on LinkedIn, so I'll be going a little bit into LinkedIn and how to use it. And so this is another way that you can tap into the RISD network. So you can see that there's over 10,000 members. There's probably more today, but this is a way that you can see alumni and what they're sharing, posting, or even working on. This is a screenshot of a post. So this person was actually looking for a designer. Oh, this one. Another way to tap into LinkedIn and the RISD network is through the RISD profile page. You can actually start this as a research tool. And that's the biggest way that I use LinkedIn personally, and how I show students how to use LinkedIn and alumni how to use LinkedIn. So a method that you can use is by finding alumni. I like to describe LinkedIn as a digital resume. And so you can see where they started, what kinds of internships did they do, where are they working now, how long did it take them to grow into their career, how many years did it take them to get promoted. So it gives you a lot of information about what somebody's career journey may have looked like. So you can see that there's over 32,000 RISD alumni on LinkedIn. You can filter by where they studied. This is also an example of a RISD alum on LinkedIn. So I do give an example of how to connect with them, what kind of messaging to send. So connecting with anybody on LinkedIn, whether it's a RISD alum or a professional, if you can, I do recommend including a note. And so just introducing yourself, you can let them know what you're studying at RISD, and some sort of intention of why you're reaching out. I admire your work. I'm really interested in the company that you work for. I'm really interested in the role that you have. So that way they know why you're reaching out. Another way is the reverse. So maybe you do know of a place that you're interested in and want to see if any RISD people work there. You can navigate to the People tab, search where they studied. You would type in RISD, or you can even just search in a specific job title that you're interested in. So going back to the RISD job board, the LinkedIn job board, there are some cool things about the job board that I really like. You can filter by location, you can filter by experience level, and even job type, including internships. The important thing about applying to any job board, especially LinkedIn, is don't just apply and disappear. I would recommend that you consider reaching out to somebody who works there. Even a short message can increase your visibility to that place. The other thing about postings and this networking and connecting is that opportunities, like I said, don't always just live on job boards. Often they're posted by a recruiter, by somebody on the team. So the question is, when you do apply to an opportunity, how to create that visibility for yourself. And so it really depends on the method or the strategy that you're using. So you might find in your job search or your internship search that you're managing both applying through job portals or job boards like this, and also reaching out to people and places about opportunities. So that in itself is creating visibility for you, because you're creating awareness, you're letting them know that you're interested in what you're looking for, how you can contribute. But say you're applying on a job board. Sometimes it feels like, well, I just click submit and now I just wait. You don't always have to just wait. You can reach out on LinkedIn. You can find an email on their website for someone. Maybe you're reaching out to a recruiter. Sometimes it's not just about saying, I'm looking for an opportunity, what's available. Sometimes it's about creating that visibility for yourself, creating that relationship and that conversation, just to let them know, oh, hey, I've applied. Or, I'd love to learn more about your hiring process. Or I want to learn more about what it's like day to day in your role. Or do you have somebody that you recommend that I reach out to about opportunities for the summer? Trying to just create some kind of relationships, this kind of visibility. One, it's showing that you're showing interest in them and that you're going out of your way to not just apply to a posting, but to create this relationship with them, because you have this level of interest or this level of respect for this studio or this company. And a lot of these things can be very situational, and so I always encourage, if you have a question, please come in to see us, whether it's for a drop-in, for a quick conversation, or for an appointment if you want to talk about, I received this email, I don't know how to respond to it, or, I'm at this stage, what do I do now? sometimes these things can be very situational. So just always know that you have us to walk through those situations with, and we can guide you best on how to move forward. So one of the common situations I might hear is, oh, somebody recommended me to apply to this position that was open at their studio or their company. What should I do now? I would say maybe thank them. Send them a follow-up. I just applied to this position. Thank you so much. They may come back and respond and say something like, oh, great, I'll let the hiring manager know, because they may know that person. We don't know what could happen as a result, but those are some things that can happen, and that's creating visibility, because now somebody that knows you is letting the hiring manager know that you just applied. Does that make sense? Okay. The other thing I'll make note of this is, so you'll see employers posting things like this on LinkedIn. You may see the recruiters posting it. You may see team members sharing that there's something open on their team. This doesn't only just happen on LinkedIn, it happens on Instagram. I do encourage you to follow us on Instagram. We're always posting opportunities on our stories, and other companies and studios will do the same as well. Sometimes they're posting it on their social media, not just LinkedIn, not just job boards, or they may only be posting it on their own company or studio websites. And so that's why it's important to start making that list now, so that way you're not relying just on job boards. While they can be beneficial, there's many reasons why people and places might not use them. The other thing that I'll mention about this network and building relationships and finding places to apply to is through our own programs. And so some of our big ones is the Portfolio Reviews and Internship Connect. And so these are opportunities for you if you are juniors, seniors, and grad students specifically. You can participate in these, but even if you're not, you can still benefit from this information, because we keep track of all employers who have participated since 2016 for these events. And what you can find on these pages are a list of the companies who came, what majors they were looking to speak with, and you can actually get a list of the reviewers who actually attended. And so you will find the name, who these people were representing, what their job titles were, if they were RISD alum and when they graduated, what major they were, and if their emails and artworks. So that's something that we didn't mention either, but if the employer gives us permission, you can actually access contact information for some of these employers on artworks. But even if you don't get an email on artworks, you can just take these names, put them into LinkedIn, and seeing if they have a profile there. And the last thing, we want you to know, so a lot of what this is called informational interviewing. We're learning about what people do. We're learning about the studios and companies they work for. We're learning about the industries. And so if you want to learn more about what informational interviewing is, or the interviewing process in general, because that's what comes after this part, right? We will be doing a program on interviewing coming up in April. It's going to be a lunchtime program, and we will be feeding you, so I hope you attend. And so to recap, start with our career programs, start with the information on the website about the career programs, keep track of our emails that we're sending you. Even if you can't attend, mark the employer that's attending, because they have a relationship with RISD. Follow your favorite companies and organizations on LinkedIn or social media. Sign up for their newsletters on their websites. Use all of the resources that we're sharing today. And keep in touch, follow up, like Karen said as well. Follow up is super important in this process, because just because we send out an application or we send an email, it doesn't mean we're just going to get a response all the time. People are busy, our emails end up in spam, so life just gets busy. And as professionals, I tell students all the time, please send me a follow-up. I want to be able to answer your question. If I happen to miss it, I don't want to, so send me a follow-up. And other professionals feel the same way. It's not unprofessional to do that. It's pretty standard. We actually recommend that you follow up within a week or two of sending any sort of outreach. And if you have any questions about what these conversations can look like, what kinds of things to say, that's what we're here for.
Thanks, Brittany. That's really great. So then now my section is talking about trying to organize yourself, trying to make sure you have like a top 10 list that can focus your search a little bit. So years ago, I had an ID student who was just into like creating lists. And I know creating a list sometimes can be like intimidating and sometimes not fun. Spreadsheets aren't always fun for everybody. But I tell students to please create something on maybe a Google Sheet. You know, you can have your top tier, but maybe one of the columns could be deadlines, it could be alumni. It's a document that you'll keep for your time here at RISD. And when you leave, you'll be able to have this list of people that you've been following up with, or organizations, even if it's just galleries that you're trying to find, and maybe you'll like to apply to those galleries at some point or send your work in. So being organized is really important. And I always tell students, if you really want that job or that internship, you know, once a week, put aside 1 to 2 hours to just do some kind of search. So this section, I'm going to talk about like registering your internship on Artworks, and it's going to go kind of quickly because Artworks is not only a job and employer directory, but it's also the place where you register your jobs, your internships. So you can register no credit or for credit, and that's the way that it gets processed in RISD. So that's called the initial approval process. And on Artworks, you'll notice you're not going to see the word internships. You're going to see experiential learning, because the rest of the world call it experiential learning. RISD calls it internships. So definitely, it takes 10 to 14 days, and no credits is much faster. And this is what the process looks like. These are all the people that have to approve. So I say to international students, please, please, please follow the direction of reaching out to the international office to make sure that they know that you're applying to an internship. So first, the student would sign RISD's internship agreement, comes into the Career Center, your department, international office, the company, RISD legal, because if anything happens to you, we want to make sure you're okay. Then it gets posted on Workday. And international students, that's when you get your CPT, the correct visa paperwork to work legally in the U.S. So the end of the process is the evaluation, and that's called a final approval. It's really quick. It's an application that we send out, like fill out your evaluation to you and your employer. You do that, and then your department head is going to actually grade you on Workday, and that's it. So employers cannot see your evaluation, so we ask you to please be truthful. Tell us what you experience so we can offer that to other students in our appointments. We can make sure it's the right thing for them. We have a whole section on our website about internships, student info. So please take note of that. It's going to answer questions like, how many internships can a graduate student have? How many hours do I need to work? How many credits can I get? Can I get paid and also credit at the same time? So this is a section that will answer those questions for you. And there's also like a deadline, and especially since RISD's credit is changing right now, it's really important to know the deadlines for this. And if you're looking for summer opportunities, June 12th is the time. We also have grants. Get money to do your internship. So the grants and also some housing help. So these are the major grants that we have right now. So this discovery grant is if there's something that you are passionate about in your discipline that you want to take a deep dive in, there's $3,000 for you, and that grant goes out in April. And you probably have gotten an email about it already. If you're interested in the Meharem Fellowship, that's social justice. You create your own internship. It could be in the U.S. It could be outside of the U.S. But you create your own internship. That deadline is right on us right now. But you can do this as a senior. Still get $5,000 to do an internship after you graduate. But I just want you to know about it. And then this one, which is very open to many students. This year, this internship grant is $3,000. If you're going into New York and you don't quite have enough, they're just giving you a salary that's not enough to pay for your housing, and you're in need, definitely please try and answer some of the essay questions. Last year, it was only $1,000, and we gave out 44 students got $1,000. So, this year's $3,000, and we hope it'll continue going on next year, the same 3,000. But for this year, we know we have that amount, and it's not a hard one to get, so definitely apply. This is also open to graduate students as well. Okay. And then if you're somebody that's interested in the theater, the performing arts, there's $5,000 grant for that as well. And we link you to a lot of the major colleges in the housing. This one, the EHS services, they always send information to RISD. I have an email from them now, and sometimes they have discounts for housing for your internship. So I just want to talk about this. Always makes me feel cringy when I put this slide up, to avoid scams, because so many things are so weird out there. So if somebody says to you, I'm going to give you $1 million to work 3 months, please talk to somebody, because it's a scam, okay? I just want you to really think about that. So in this kind of final recap, really reach out to the Career Center. Talk to us about the quality of the opportunities and employers. As Brittany talked about, building your network, and that can last a long time, and being very organized and keeping the process organized so you can follow up with people. And, definitely try to think about how you can write those cover letters in a way that somebody will pay attention to it, how to craft a really good resume, and how to work on your portfolio. That's what the Career Center is there for. And of course, you have to be persistent and be strategic and be proactive. So that's what we're here. We're here to really help you through this process. So please, like Brittany mentioned, following us on social media. This is our team. We're right down the hallway. You can schedule your own individual meeting, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or you could just drop in at our advising time. We talk for 15 to 20 minutes and answer quick questions for you. And as you can tell, we don't look too dangerous. We look nice, I think, anyways.